Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's Saturday night, and of course that means some Monster of the Week action. We're going to be taking a look at a number of games, and it looks like I'm dropping a bunch of frames. What the hell's going on? Encoder overloaded. I don't know what's going on right now. It seems to have leveled out. Hopefully things are more stable, but once again, welcome back, everybody. Looking into Monster of the Week games, we got a few people reporting highlights. We got some new maps. We got new Phobies. We're going to get into it. But before we do, of course, I have to let everybody know this, of course, is, well, we'll say sponsored by the Phobies team. I am part of the content affiliate program. They give me coffee for producing Phobies content, and they provide the prizes for Monster of the Week and the other events that we run here at Random Slots. You can check the links in the description for the Discord, of course, likes and subscribes, all that fun stuff, because for these events, you get coffee just for playing. So you gotta Chat is killing me right now. But with the disclaimer out of the way, let's get into it. All right, first game of Monster of the Week 30, Dama versus PVZ. Let's see what we've got in this particular one. This is on one of the new maps. Just added this week into rotation. This is Dark Sarcasm? I had to think about it for, I was going to say a second, but it was a very long second, we'll say. And we'll see what is going on. You know what? I'm going to have to move myself. Bro, you're upside down. We just literally talked about this, El Malgo. Like, we were just literally talking about this. Hey, Master Dark, what's good? Did your first playthrough in Classic Mode of Terraria, but since there was no scaling in Classic Mode, boss and enemies were melting, or restarted by making Expert World instead of Classic? I've never played Terraria, so the context for this is kind of lost on me. It took so long writing the hello message, we got to the game already. True. So we don't really have anything abnormal for these openers. While we're watching this, I'm going to try and move myself again. Since 8 people have asked about this and nobody wanted to listen to the explanation, the reason that I'm upside down is because I was playing a different game. And being in this position was an issue for that game. Because it was covering up parts of the screen. So I'm going to move me while we're doing this. We do get Phantom here. I can't imagine why Dama submitted this game. Probably, and I know there's no sound. It's because I'm working on the scene. Which, you know what, we'll do it later. I'm going to leave me upside down for now. We're just going to do this. It's funnier this way. So yeah, we get a Phantom, which obviously we got the nerf. We got the nerf. So we'll see how this one pans out. Spoiler alert. I know how it pans out. You probably know how it pans out. Everybody knows how it pans out. We got a little snappy action. Double turret out of our blue player. Blast-O-Matic out of our orange player. That's a bold move there, Cotton. 2-to-1 panic point advantage. Two to one panic point advantage. No real great bombs here. I mean, you could set some up, but actually... Okay, so was there a feasible bomb where, like... Okay, why is this? This is just a mistake, right? Like, why is Bad Sushi on the board? I get it, there's a dimensional, 2 undeads, they're maxed out, but like, nah. The answer is never Bad Sushi. I don't care what the question is. The answer is not Bad Sushi. Unless the question is, what is the worst phobia in the game? Bad Sushi. So our blue player, sticking with their advantage, 9 keys to 3. So a 3-key advantage, board positional advantage as far as panic points go, locking out the Blom play to a degree. I'm going for the big pressure, but all you're doing is activating Haffy right now. This is... I guess it's fine. Like, this is okay. This is all right, I guess. Like, I'm not thrilled about this, but, like, you do get the connection onto the undead. It body blocks for the Blasto. The problem here is you're probably going to lose the Phantom. You might not, I don't know. This is a situation we discussed this last night with Karst, that reduction of Phantom's health. Okay, it doesn't even die, but it would have died, assuming a health reduction. But would that have mattered? Because it's already done its thing. The buff for Sushi, putting in work, I guess. I don't know. All right, so now our blue player does, in fact, have additional slots open on their team. What are they going to commit to? Ooh. I mean, that's a dead jar. Kablamo! Dropping the hammer here with the Blasto. I'm not going to lie. PVZ looks to be in a great position other than the fact they have 0 keys. But Dama does have 9, and that's where the scary part starts to come in. Evo Plaid! You could have hit the Blasto directly. You didn't need to use the AoE. I guess the intent here is to not be in range of the Blasto, so that's fair. The Blasto is still very healthy. The problem is that PVZ's team is kind of beat up at this stage. Like, I don't know if you actually have enough damage to kill the Plaid. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me, this body block. I guess the intent was to pull in the Plaid, but the Plaid can walk away if it wants. Or it just stays there and kills it. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I think there's just not quite enough damage. Why is this game going to 35 turns? That should not be a thing. This should not be a thing. Why is this happening? I can completely understand people, like, okay, this is reasonable. Like, this is PVZ's out. You have a triple panic point advantage, well, temporarily, and then you got to push heart damage because you don't really have any other, like, your opponent's never going to let you just sit there and wail on the Plaid. And I'm all for people, you know, I'm not giving up, never give in, never surrender, whatever, that kind of thing, in tournaments. But at the same time, there does come a point where it's like, nah, the game's over. Just, you don't have to drag it out. That being said, this one looks closer than it might have otherwise. Blue player appropriately taking the panic points. I don't know if they did the math or they figured, like, this is the only way, because this thing is at 550, so yeah, if it ever steps into range, it just dies. So you can't fight the Unicorn. Interestingly enough, I guess the Unicorn never placed any traps. I mean, not that there would be one where Plaid is right now, but you get the idea. Panic points can make a difference. They absolutely will. That is the only reason that our blue player will be able to take this game, because Plaid doesn't actually offer... Like, our orange player had a triple panic point advantage, and they were already beating on the heart, and they had a life advantage before our blue player really started to turn things around. So they absolutely would have taken it if they didn't get the panic point advantage, as in our orange player would have taken it. But instead, panic point advantage flipped, and blue takes the W. GG. We're going to come back to Dark Sarcasm. First time in tournament, I think I did good. Well, that's what matters. Tournaments are fun in and of themselves, just the competition aspect, because it is different from ladder. It's a wildly different beast. And that's what, for me personally, it's the competition that drives things. I don't like ladders because they very quickly feel samey. And it's just like, none of these games matter. 90% of the time, people aren't paying attention, that sort of thing. Phantom wasn't a good idea to begin with on this map. I don't know. I'm undecided. I think the Blasto Phantom can work. I think in the last game, Dama just did put in some significant effort in preventing the bombs, or effective ones. I think there might have been one or two that were missed by PVZ in that game. Although we do see a different opener from PVZ here, going with the Spud early on. Karst talked about this a little bit, I think, last night, and wasn't super thrilled. Spud does feel like a relic, to a degree, of Phobies design. And the reason I say that is that it feels as though Spud was, Like, the game has evolved, and it's not that things have been power crept. I mean, there is a degree of that, but it's not explicitly that the game has been power crept. It's more that the game is different than it was before, and like, yeah, phobies are stronger. Like, 330 damage is just not great. Like, it's just not a really great amount. Trying to play ladder seriously is the easiest way to burn me out. I win 90% of my games, Sum of All Fears, then keep losing the level difference when you get Sum of All Fears too. I just don't care. Like, part of it's the level differential, part of it's there's no incentive, part of it's just like, it's the forever grind, which is kind of a function of the fact that there's, like, what's the point of getting higher rank? You get nothing out of it, effectively. Like, a meaninglessly better end-of-season pack. Is it better? Yes. Is it notably better? Probably not. It's just not worth it. I have Phantom, but I don't like to play it because it's unfair to the rival. I also only use him when the rival plays Phantom. I don't know if that's true anymore. We did discuss it at length in the podcast last night. Like, I kind of get it. PvZ. Getting bodied here. I mean, the repeller. There's the Frosty. It's going to get booped here, so I don't know that I love the positioning here. Yeah, this positioning was kind of terrible. Like, what is you doing? So, the only advantage here is, like, you can get a triple freeze on the bottom, but you've already burned Muffin in order to salvage the, what's it called? The Spud? Wait, do you not have it? Why didn't you... Why not freeze here? They're maxed out. They're not going to be able to thaw next turn. I mean, they can thaw, but, like, something's not going to attack. And it's only going to take 600 damage. Right? Because, like, these will be frozen. It's not going to thaw immediately because you need 2 attacks. There's only 1 fire. And this isn't enough damage. That might not be worth it. Oh no. It's the heebie-jeebie special. Kind of feel like the Phantom nerf is effective. It didn't get us out of the keyhole snipe thing. I really think that they should... I wonder if they'll do, like it taking time for them to do a rework on that. Like, maybe the coding that's required in order to make that happen, preventing things being taken from the keyhole, is just taking longer. Oh, PvZ, I don't know what you're doing, but winning is not part of this right now. This looks bad. This looks pretty bad. Triple panic point advantage. We're soon going to be below half health on the heart. Presumably the game plan here is we're just waiting for the Frosty to get to full strength. Bad guy seemingly sacrificing the Gravedigger just to free up some key space. Alright, we got the other heal. I gotta hydrate up, Chad. I didn't drink enough water today. I drank way too much caffeine. I had 2 cups of coffee, even though one was... I had a cup of coffee, a cup of decaf coffee, and a cup of tea. And, like, that's not the hydration you need. That's not the hydration of champions, let me tell you right now. Alright, so our hero's out of keys, bad guy's out of keys, but bad guy has a panic point advantage, a pretty defensible position. Admittedly, there is a Frosty, but still. Alright, no obvious freeze play available. Our hero is nearly dead. The fact the early life loss at begin was effectively removed is good proof of lack of offensive push from a... What? Master Dark, did you run it through Google Translate? What are you trying to communicate here? Alright, we get the snipe on the repeller. Did bad guy throw? I mean, yes, the Jin Sting's dead, but... yeah. For these things, the surrender option is available, yeah. Especially in tournaments. Like, in tournaments, there's no penalty for... like, if you're losing, you lose. There's no... oh, well, you gotta stick it out so you can get more resources, like more tiers or whatever. GG. Yeah, this one was over, like, 20 turns ago. Alright, we're back with PvZ, but this time on Toys in the Attic. Holy crap, that was way harder to get out. The Omega Avatar up against Potenzi, our resident werewolf enjoyer. We'll see how this one goes. So we did talk at length about Toys in the Attic. Karst has, like, kind of a hate boner for this map. I think the problem is... So here's the difference between my opinion on this map and Karst. I think Karst hates the inherent premise of this map. So the idea of, hey, you really need to focus on mechs. And I get that. Like, a collection check, as he put it last night, and I think that's a great way to describe it, is not good. And it, realistically, that immediately for me is like, all right, it's dead. But if we're going to assume that the devs are going to include collection check maps like this, I don't necessarily have a problem as long as there are other collection check maps that go in a different direction. But all of the collection check maps that we have, and to clarify, a collection check map is, do you have the quantity and level of phobies appropriate to play this map? You must be this tall to ride this ride. And in this case, you have to have enough mechs to reasonably play this map. If you do not, you're at a massive disadvantage. You can still win, but it's hard. It forces in a very linear way. It forces, by the way, Blasto Mirror, because sure. So the issue, it's not necessarily an issue for me because I don't mind it that much, because every map changes what phobies are good to a degree. And it's just, this is a very extreme degree. Blom on the heart. Love to see it. It's a very extreme degree. I don't like this. Like, this lets Potentia get the counter Blom with the Blasto. Is this what you want? It does give you a panic point advantage, and they don't have anything on the board to immediately change that, but... what was I saying? The collection checks. I lost my train of thought as we were looking at this, but the bottom line is that right now all the collection checks say, do you have enough mechs? Every map forces a change in what's utilized simply because the map manipulates things. Like, on some maps you want more lobbers, on some maps you want mechs, on some maps you want this, on some maps you want that. And I like that. That's an ace. I didn't even realize Potentia had that. He looks pretty sick in game. But the problem with the collection check is what happens if you just don't have the right tools. And that kind of sucks. And it is, like I said before, just an extreme degree. Like, it's taking the fact that maps influence what phobies you use to the nth degree. It goes so far that it's problematic. All right, so we get a Gonzo, about half health for our orange player. Blue player has a significant life lead advantage. We're sneaking the Contortio in. Denzi has added keys. They've completely relinquished the idea of actually controlling panic points at this stage. Triple panic point advantage. Oh, no. Womp, wah. That's brutal. Like, that's just game right there, right? Freezing these two. You have electrical damage in the form of Frosty. You'll get a panic point back, but, like, this is a massive, massive advantage, because the only way that you're interacting as Potenzi at this point is walking your Blasto into range of both their Blasto as well as Frosty. And it looks like PVZ doesn't even care. Ash goes down already. Ugh, nerf Frosty. I'm not going to lie. Once Frosty gets more disseminated, more people have access to Frosty, there will be significantly more complaints about Frosty. You haven't even begun to see the complaints. Kars was talking about this last night. Kars said that he always felt that Hevo 3.0 was better than Boss, even pre-Boss nerf. I don't know if I agree with that. In fact, I'm fairly certain I don't, but that's not the point of this statement. I think Frosty is the best 9-key. I think Frosty is the best 9-key. Arguably, the only thing holding it back is that there are so many good Fire Phobies. It's not that there's so many Fire Phobies. It's that pretty much every Fire Phobie is playable, so it's likely that it's going to be played and leveled up. What? Why? Is the freeze live? I don't know about this one. Why did this happen? This is not a Nerf Frosty moment. This is a, baby, what is you doing? This is a, you just lost your whole team. Gonzo running for its life. More like it's offering itself up. This is no bueno. Get the Blom, additional heart damage. Taking down the Blasto. I mean... Sure. This is not a good game to demonstrate why Frosty would need to be nerfed, because it's just, Potenzi just made a mistake there. There's no two ways about it. GG? Well played. Well played. Alright, we're going to take a look at this one. We got Killer Ox, we got Mago 3718. We're going to take a look at Dark Sarcasm. So we did also talk about this on the podcast, that this map... I'm not sure what the design philosophy is for small maps right now. And I'm kind of repeating. We rushed through it a little bit because we were already going long last night. Like, it was already at like 4 hours by the time we got to the maps. And I don't know what the design philosophy is currently on small maps, because we do have cool small maps. They're just certainly fewer and further between compared to the big maps, I think. I'd have to sit down and actually count that to see if, like, yes, there are definitely more good big maps than good small maps. I don't know if that's true. I have mixed feelings about this one. At least there's room for positive, unlike Bite the Dust. I don't know. Bite the Dust, I don't know if it's going to be the twice lore. Truthfully. It's me, and it's the only match I lost. Well, you got to submit your highlights so I know which ones to look at. I just picked one arbitrarily, because... Spoiler alert, Oxy went undefeated. So our orange player here did drop a Sentinel on the board. Notably, both players went Gravedigger, which is kind of what we were discussing last night, that this is where the whole small map, big map, which ones are good, whatever discussion. It feels like they're kind of stuck in this loop of, you know what we should do? We should have 1,000,000 obstacles on a small map, because why not? And it's just... It doesn't feel very interesting. I don't know that there's a... I would have to sit down, and I keep meaning to do this. And now that I'm saying it out loud, maybe it will keep me honest and actually do this at some point. But at what point At what point, or how, I guess would be a better way, like, how do you create a small map that benefits melee? I don't know that it's possible. I don't know if it's possible to structure a map in any way that it benefits melee. The reason I say that is you would think, like, just like general, not necessarily for phobies, but just like the general idea, oh, if I'm going to need to be melee, I need cover, therefore obstacles, to be able to approach and then jump on the range guys. The problem is, and as I mentioned last night on the podcast, I think virtually every melee phobie could get plus 100 health and damage, like almost literally all of them across the board, and it may not even make a dent because it is such an enormous, and one key is excluded, but it's such an enormous penalty to be melee. Like, that's the biggest problem. So if we were to give them all a buff, maybe they can tank a hit and still do relevant damage. I think Radiator and Phobies like that are a good push towards the correct way to design them, but there isn't enough. So, more esoteric discussions aside, Blulian, post-nerf Blulian out here. Shinra wasn't there? Yeah, Shinra was in both. Shinra was in both, I believe. I know they were in at least this one, but I'd have to check and see about the other one. We're not there yet. I don't love the trap on the center panic point. It's like that was clearly going to get activated by a one key, which is what happened. Again, people just sending out Boom to die. Like, I don't get it. Would not literally any other one key have been better? Because then it would have either lived or forced the Blulian to stay there to then get beat up. Now, admittedly, this Bachelor would have slid into place anyway. You know, like, the Blulian kills it, the Bachelor comes in and body blocks. So, like, you wouldn't have pushed it, but at least it would have forced them to stay in that position, so maybe you could do something else. It just feels kind of silly to send the Boom up there, and it's like, all right, you get an easy kill. Just go ahead. We'll give you the day off. Healing Spa, doing what healing spas do. 10 keys to 11 remaining. Boop. That's a dead Gravedigger. Who could have seen the Shove Shark putting in work? Down goes Gravedigger. Orange player maxed out. 7 keys remaining, but 11 for our blue player side. That's always a scary thing. Anybody who's played against Alien Engineer could tell you that. That is one donked cowbell. Sparky. Only Sparky was any good. I disagree with Cars about this. Sparky's kind of doo-doo. Sparky's pretty doo-doo. It was enlightening to think about the the ogre buffs in the context of Sparky, where, like, for the most part, ogre is a better Sparky. More universally useful. Arguably trivial activation to get him buffed. And unless you're running Hoovy out there, like, who cares? Like, you're not going to heal, so once he's live, he's live. Counter Shove Shark. Panic point advantage blue. What? I guess, sure. This does free up the spot, because clearly the Tickles is not there for long. But I think the big issue is our orange player now has given up this orange the bottom panic point. And yeah, you could snipe that. What did that get damaged by? Oh, never mind. This is 800. It will one-shot. Okay, I have a little more respect for Sparky. For some reason, I was thinking it was 350, 350. For some reason, I was thinking it was 350, 350, and it would be incapable of one-shotting Innocuous, because I knew it was 800. little more respect for the Innocuous, but, I mean, unless you can counter kill this Sparky literally right now, which obviously you cannot. Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in because the Boolean can finish off the jar. It can even survive because it could go on the conveyor tile and then get slid back out so that there's less opportunity for it to get beat on. Yeah, this game's pretty much over. I think there were some incremental mistakes. Like, it wasn't as decisive as some of the other games we've watched already, but there were some minor things. It's interesting to see Boolean still performing well. That'll do it. GG. GG. Sometimes people's names don't match, and I can't find the game. Shadowborn, Mago. Another one bites the dust. New map, the Twice Lore, as Karst so affectionately dubbed it. We'll see if it is. We'll see if it is. Karst was talking about how they played some Frenemies games, and it was an incredibly aggressive set of matches on this map. I am skeptical. But hey, maybe it's true. Maybe that is the case. Alright, we're going to trade off 1 keys for a little bit, capping some points. Early displacement tool out of our orange player. I don't like this map, but the map was selected by the opponent. Fair. Yeah, I've mentioned it on many occasions before. I'd love to run best 2 of 3, but it just takes way too long. It takes way, way too long. Like, you need... We used to run 75-minute rounds for Fright Night. And, like, that's a long time. That's a long time. And for Fright Night, it would have been 5 rounds of Swiss. Here, it's only 3, so... This map sounds like it was designed by Akira and a Tractor. I mean, that's why everybody's been calling it the Twice Lore, but... Like I said, Karst was claiming that this map was incredibly aggressive, and it got to the point where there wasn't time to bank to Akira and that sort of thing. Now, Karst did explicitly mention that they got to play a 6 key, and my response was, okay, so a Tractor. I kind of like the idea of this center, like... Can you just trade the Gravedigger for the Spider right now? Or will you lose the Spider? Actually, you may not be able to clear the Razor Mouth to get there, so that doesn't matter. I forgot what I was going to say before that. I'm tired. Despite all the caffeine, I'm tired. Maybe because of all the caffeine. Wait, that's... Okay, yeah, you should be able to... Oh, you can get the cowbell up there. Okay, same play. This is what I was thinking about setting up. I didn't realize the Razor Mouth was so low, but... That's a dead Spider, and that's a tough spot to be in if you're an orange player. If you're the orange person in this scenario, rough spot. It's a rough spot. A Tractor is, in fact, coming down... Dueling 3 Rangers, Innocuous versus a Tractor. Yeah, what if we got a 0 move, Phobie? Like, it literally can't move without Shove Shark, or Ash, or Phantom. Or Kira, I guess. I wonder how... Like, would you allow... paddles to interact with that and give it one move. Because we were talking about 3 Rangers last night, and part of my argument with and my issue with the Sentinels is that they are not weak enough for what they offer. If you compare it to Jar or even Chuck, there are on level or around level answers that are very clean. There really aren't any for these particular phobies. Like, okay, we saw Sparky one-shot an Oculus last game, but is this Attractor dead? And this is why Attractor should have less health. But it doesn't, which is dumb. But they all have way too much health. They're way too tanky for what they offer. As compared to, like, Jar, you got Murderwing, you got Snowball, you got Cassowary, you got this, you got that. Even Chuck, it's like, okay, well, there's a million ways to either poison it, disease it, or just jump it. You can't really do that to the Sentinels all that well. But I wonder if you had a literally 0 move phobie, so it required other phobies to get it moving. Or maybe that's part of its ability, is like to roll it forward. You need other phobies to push it or something. Like it's kind of like Jaws. Instead of feeding in phobies, you feed in actions. If you get what I mean. Quick pick here on the Hevo. And then you just make the thing like insanely powerful. The problem is, like, phobies along those lines become super linear, where it's either your opponent knows it's coming and they prepare and then it's useless, or they don't know it's coming, or they can't react because, like, they're maxed out, and then they just lose. Also, the spider getting cooked here is not that big of a deal because it's already done an enormous amount of work. It got the other spider and contributed to that Hevo death. You got the value off of this spider. This is worth it. And the counterattack is going to be bad for your opponent too. Maybe not terrible, but... I will say that the Attractor has contributed precisely nothing thus far. Speaking of Chuck, I didn't actually expect to see Chuck on this map, but we do have a Chuck coming down. 8 keys for Bad Guy. Still 6 keys for our orange player, rather. Force of Habit from Viewer Games. 6 still available for our blue player. Pop goes the tickles. God, how many tickles does it take to get an octopus to laugh? Do you know? I think you know, chat. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! That was pretty sick. That was a very, very good play. Heads up play there. Getting the yoink. Getting the snipe. There's a pterodactyl on the board. I don't know about that one. That seems questionable. So Tractor putting in work. While you lose the Murder Wing, a lot of this is going to end up in a positive trade. You can retaliate against most of this. Well, not most of it, but... You probably snipe the Inoculus, Chuck, and a Tractor. Corn can just wipe the Contortio off the face of the earth. You may even be able to dive to get the Murder Wing. Affy. I don't know about that one. That one's suspect. Wait, what? Did this not attack? Oh, it lives by 30 health. Okay, I see why you didn't move it in range. I had just assumed it was enough damage to kill it. That's actually kind of funny. That is amusing. Panic point advantage orange, though, but it's going to swap soon, I presume. Snowball can cover most of the map. Does that kill it with fire? Oh, it does. Wow. Taffy with the body block. Blue player in complete control. The Rockin' Vendy avatar. Getting cooked. Getting cooked. Speaking of getting cooked, I am getting cooked, Chad. It's getting very warm. It's getting very, 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 very warm. Orange player putting up a fight, but, yoink. We don't have bees, do we? Bees! We do, in fact, have bees! And then the solo innocuous hanging on, clinging to life by the magic pixel. Not getting it done. GG. Well played. No Akira involved. There wasn't a tractor, though. And personally, I think this map's going to be closer to the Twice lore than it is going to be something interesting. But the map is still young. We shall see. I think this is the right game. We're going to find out. Muso Mia. Somebody's got to tell me what that means. I keep meaning to look it up. I keep forgetting. We got Alistair. We got Shadowborn. Alistair number 125. 125th Alistair. Whatever that means. Oh, man. Very interesting openers. Our orange player went Jar Pass into Primate. I'm going to assume this is a collection restraint, because I'll be honest, I have never played a game where I said, you know what I want here? Primate number 9. Here's something I will say for Primate. If you look very, very closely on its face here, like on the pink part above its teeth, I'm calling that its face, which is, all right, look, that's already a stretch. You can see the continuation of the polka dots that are presumably disease or, you know, because it's undead, like spots from the body decomposing. But if you squint at it enough, you could claim that this thing has spider eyes, because there's like 4 or 6 dots in that purplish part above its teeth. You got to look real close and you got to kind of squint at it sideways. And maybe that makes Primate like a spider hybrid. It doesn't by any stretch of the imagination. Well, I guess by some stretch of the imagination. Maybe not no stretch of the imagination. Some stretch of the imagination. But you really need to stretch. It's important to stretch before exercise. You don't want to hurt yourself. Body block coming in here, protecting the jar. Tooth Fairy Daisy. Okay. Getting the jar, locking, both sides locking down the center. This is something that I pointed out that I did like about Toys in the Attic. That the jars do not cover the neutral, tradable center panic point. This map, Karst was saying that they felt thus far in their experience that this map, there's enough rotation, there's enough movement that the panic points are all arguably contestable. I am less optimistic about it just because of the way the stim is positioned. Like, these jars on the stims are arguably unassailable unless you, like, truly push, and then you're going to get the crap shelled out of you. So, I don't know. We'll see how this map plays out on the long term. I guess this sort of play is viable. You know, you could Gravedigger break the bottom, freeing it up, so, or Crushmore for that matter, so that way you can try and sneak along the bottom or top to those pocket panic points. I don't know. I believe all the panic points can be contested. I've had matches where I had to fight for points on my side of the map. I mean, that's exactly what Karst was describing. I want to believe that that's true. Like, I want to believe that that is how this map functions, but it just... My mind's telling me no, but my heart's telling me yes. I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to stay hydrated, chat. I'm trying to stay cool. That's a dozer! I was about to say, are you really going to let this thing get deceased? But there is, in fact, a shove shark saving the dozer from certain disease, eventual death. I believe opening up the top wall is what allows all the points to be contested. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing down here. That's what I was describing with the Gravedigger, that you can break this open and then voila, you're there. But the thing is that you're still... Okay, so here's where I guess it goes. Whatever you send in there dies to the jar, but it still flips the panic point. So if orange goes in and caps this bottom panic point in front of Gravedigger, whatever caps it dies due to the jar. Okay? But in order for blue to reclaim it, you have to spend a significant amount of effort running something down. Like, it's multiple turns to get this to happen. So it's not a trivial effort to make that thing work. This baby Snakey might also be dead due to the Gonzo. I don't know what its base health is. Dude, is this dozer dead? Wait, that doesn't work, does it? Ah, yes, it does. Lel. Oh, yeah, it's 220. I was like, wait, where's the 70 coming from? It's 220 damage. Well, buffs couldn't stack? Yeah, but you can't stack, like, Scritch and Gonzo. Like, that won't work. Or Cupcake and Gonzo. Pop goes the dozer. That's the ball game, right? Like, that's just the game. I don't know how else to put it. I can put dozer on the thumbnail. It was in a game. It certainly was impactful, I can say that. Just not for the player who played the dozer. Flesh Crawler, also recently buffed. I'm surprised we didn't see more Flesh Crawler, honestly. Like, I think the Flesh Crawler buff is putting it potentially in a good place. Down goes Baby Snakey without doing anything. Sounds about right. Wow, down goes the Grave... Okay. Our orange player here is just hemorrhaging Phobies. It's a rough spot to be in. You do get a powerful tentacles! Not really powerful enough, though. Oh, no. You don't even kill the... that doesn't even kill the pterodactyl. Ah, this is so bad. Yeah. Press F in chat to pay your respects. Down goes Flesh Crawler. Oof. I mean, let's be real. After the dozer loss, the game is effectively over. It would take our blue player, like, making a not just as bad of a mistake, it would have to be even worse of a mistake, because you end up in this position where, because of just the, not just the keys, but the tempo loss of having to put that much effort into getting the dozer out there and banking for those turns and all that kind of stuff, and then it just dies. Like, you lose all of those non-tangible things when it dies, and you're just toast at this point. And at this point, we can say that you are, in fact, toast. Completely unnecessary claiming the bottom panic point. Like, there are no tears to be gained from this. GG. Well played. Taking it down. All right, we're back with PvZ. We were trying to find other people's games, but we're coming back. Going back to the well, Muso Mia. Alistair, our orange player this time. Let's see what we got. This feels like a more standard opener than what we saw on the other ones. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume we're not going to see a dozer again. Maybe. Just maybe. I do have to say, Well, A, this is a much earlier Gravedigger, so I do like that. I do have to say, some of these Monster of the Week games are starting to look like viewer games, where it's just some nonsense. It's just some hilarity and insanity ensuing. And the required... I forget the jar. Why? This is not a good play. Don't do this. Alistair, don't do this. You don't even need to leave. Oh my god. Like, why? Why did you do that? Dude, why? Alright, look. We haven't really paused any of the games to talk about the plays. Because, like, there were some cool plays, and there were some funny things that happened. Like, there was weird stuff, but, like... This one really... And I'm holding a Pokemon coin, in case anybody's wondering what I'm playing with here. I don't know why. Like, I found it cleaning up, and, like, now I've just been playing with it. There is literally no reason to do that droning play. You just sacrifice 2 keys for literally nothing. What was the goal there? And I'm not trying to, like, beat on... You know, like, oh my god, you suck. That's not what I'm saying. But, like... Phobies is a deterministic tactics game. There is strategy, but there's a lot of tactics in it, too. Maybe it's 50-50, but either way, the point is that you can't just do what I do when I stream and I play games. I just do things for the lulz. Like, it's just we're doing stuff. You can't just do things, because then you lose. So, I want to know, like, what was the plan here? Why did that droning go out there? Because you're 100% getting burned, and you did. Now, 2 keys may sound inconsequential, but especially at higher levels, like, that's a significant disadvantage. Again, it's the key resource, it's the phobie resource, because now you don't have that phobie available for other things. So the droning being dead, and we talked about this last night in the context of Benny. If Droney is used to kill a phobie like that, and then Droney's gone, now Droney is no longer available for, like, a Daisy that comes out. Or other Resurrect Phobie. Because Droney really is the Resurrect Phobie killer. Now, Snowball is on the map, so Snowball does exist already to be that resource. But that's clearly a larger key investment, it has other value, you don't want to give up a Snowball to sit on a Resurrect Phobie if you can help it. Also, I don't know what this spider is doing. It's just, like, wandering around the map. It was gonna yoink to, like, where he was threatening the cassowary, but I don't know. Either way, we got a Phantom and a Hercules set up here. Scritch. That is not a play you want to make. So, Alistair here, I don't know what rank or stress level they are, but this play here, this Terraform, screams to me that they are a lower rank player, like a low elo player, and that is, again, not intended to be insulting, but the only reason you do something like that in this sort of scenario is if you know, like, the inherent... or the common psychological play for most players is turtle up. That's what most people do in a lot of strategy games. They turtle and then they move out. Because it's, okay, I'm safe, you can't hurt me, I will push out now that I'm prepared. But there is, like, no reason to do that because there's already a Gravedigger on the board. They could just rotate the Gravedigger to the bottom to break the block. They could break the block you put down. Like, dude, and it's not blocking off anything of value. The fight is going to be taking place in the center of the map. And here we get a scritched up Hercules, notably not using Murderer Bees. That's the ability, in case anybody was wondering. Oh, man. Well, my supper is not sitting well. I ate it really fast. I was so hungry. Part of the reason why I'm so fat. I gotta start exercising again, Chad. I've never liked exercising. And I was an athlete before. I just, I hated doing conditioning and stuff like that. I didn't mind, working out. But I don't go to the gym currently, and I kind of can't because of my injuries. I mean, I could and just do only, certain exercises, but I do need to do something. I gotta at least walk more, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. And it sucks, because, I was in a rhythm of exercising regularly, 5 days a week. Nothing, humongous, but I was doing it. Also, this Quagmire's just cooked. Oof. So, PVZ, you submitted this game. Is the other game against this person a similar outcome? Because, I don't know if we need to see another massacre like this. And again, I'm not trying to crap on our orange player here, but, they are just getting raffle stomped. There's basically no reality in which I would call this game close. If this Blondie dies... Alright, we got a freeze, but... So that means it's dead. Get another sacrificial droney, although in this case, I guess it's a little bit better. I don't really understand the Temptress. I guess it's supposed to be a counter to Frosty. Temptress just sucks. Now, it doesn't even hit the Frosty. That's kind of hilarious. This is a 4-to-1 panic point advantage, so there is a level of pressure on our blue player. 0 keys to 1 remaining, but, I'm pretty sure Blondie's just dead. Yeah. That's a dead Blondie. That's going to be a dead Temptress. The only question is how much else dies. Why did that only do 20 damage? Oh, because you're powered down. You're powered down. My only counter to Frosty are Barzilla and Boss. There aren't a lot of counters to Frosty. Yes, we talked about the fire thing earlier, but the reality of the situation is Frosty is just... It has a very powerful effect. It just does. And I think if more people had access to it, we'd see boss-level complaints. Pre-nerf boss-level complaints. Sniped. Murder of bees! That also hit... The range on that is so funny. A lot of people keep telling me that Hercules is overpowered too. I don't know if I buy that, but, I mean... It seems good. Cupcake body block, muffin top, yep. Little muffin body block action. This kind of feels like you're playing with your food, PVZ. I mean, I recognize that our orange player was not, alright, offering up literally everything right now, but... Dude, how is this Hercules still powered? Oh, no, it was powered up. Wait, was it powered up? What is the effect on it? It's gone now. I was gonna say, it's still powered down, but... Yep. This would be the end. Yeah, I got powered up by Scritch. There needs to be better differentiation between the power up and power down effects. Because they both have the red squiggly lines. And, like, yeah, you should know because if you're playing the game, you'll see what things are on the board, but I feel like they could be different colors at the very least. All right, we got another PvZ game, trying to bounce around a little bit. There was a mix-up with, because people are probably going to ask me in the comments, oh, how come you have people playing each other again so many times and blah, blah, blah. There were mix-ups in the reported, like, which games we were supposed to highlight. So we ended up having some Event 2 games in Event 1 highlight and vice versa. It's whatever. Who cares? We're just looking at cool games. We're looking at the cool games. And trying not to melt. I'm going to have to take another break, chat, because, like, I'm seriously cooking. Like, it's starting to make me feel nauseous. That's how warm... And, like, how warm is it down here? Not that bad, according to this. I don't understand why I feel like this. I think it's, honestly, I think it's the light. I think it's the light because it's lit, as you can tell, like, from the shine off of my head. Like, it is right above me. And they're not, like, low heat bulbs. So, I think I'm just literally baking under this light. That's why I usually wear the hat, but to prevent the shine, but that's not going to help with the heat. And I turn the fans on, but they're so loud, like they blow into the mic, and then it causes distortion and stuff, and, you know. I can't win. I can't win, chat. So instead, I feel nauseous because it's so hot. So I'm going to have to take a break after this game and get up. Go cool off upstairs. You would think the basement would be cooler. But in fact, it traps all the humidity from the day down here. Attract your mirror. Somebody page karst. Everybody's just doing this. I don't know. I like the idea. We talked about this way back when. Way back when being like year 1 of Phobies. When we first... Because you start out with small maps. There are no abyss tiles on the small maps. Especially the initial ones. Are there any small maps with abyss tiles? There might be now. I can't think of any, but the point is, there certainly weren't any when the game first released. So then when we first got our first round of big maps, and then like Xylo, and this might sting a little, and stuff like that, and we got abyss tiles, like, oh my god, this is crazy. What happens? How does this affect the game? And the big thing that I had said at the time, one of the big things, is that it is an equalizer. So it doesn't matter if your opponent out-levels you by 200 levels, stress levels, like, or even phobia levels. If you displace them into an abyss, they're just dead. Realize I could have killed their attractor there? Disappointing. I am disappointed. But the point is that, hypothetically, the abyss tiles are kind of an equalizer, because if you are underleveled on ladder, you can leverage them to get phobia kills that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to get. The reality is it doesn't play out that way. But the abyss tiles are unique and kind of a cool aspect of the game, but the problem here is I just don't know that... They can kill your attractor. Or no, you can get their attractor. Wait, what? Wait, would you? Hold on. Actually, I think you won't. So, like, you could have pushed to here, move up, and then you boop this, but I don't know if it pushes here or here. I think it pushes back this way. Like, it would push this here, and then halfy back one. Which is kind of annoying. Is there 1, 2... I don't think that makes any difference. I was trying to see if there's a way to position this. Try and force it. So wait, where did you start this turn? If you pushed here, you moved up, you wouldn't have the range. Yeah, I guess there's no real way to do it from here. Now, you might have been able to get it with an attractor pull, though. Hold on. Hold on. So if you went, like, here and then pushed the attractor to here. You move a tractor here, you pull this in. So then you can hit it once with this, you hit it once with this. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you had enough. Yeah, you 100% could have killed this thing. Now, you probably offered up your attractor as dead in that case, because so in this scenario, your attractor ends up here. Their attractor goes here, Halfie goes here. Halfie's going to live, Cassowary's in range, this is in range, and Maggie's in range. So, like, you might have been able to body block with your cat and this. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 phobies. So you can only, like, whatever you add is now maxing you out. So chat's pointing out you could droney. You won't be able to do both. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and the droney can't get to their attractor to be like, oh, well, the droney participates in the kill and then body blocks. So what'll end up happening is you have to put a jar or something on the board. I think it has to specifically be jar in order to get this. But I think you can kill it. It's just you'd probably be offering it up. Yours would be getting offered up to die after that. All right, so we went through this turn like 9 times, so. You know, I just had a thought, chat. Should I set up a separate spreadsheet and submission form for Monster of the Week highlights? Maybe that would be easier for people, because I ping people after the events and say, like, hey, if you explicitly had a game that you want highlighted, let me know. And inevitably, everybody asks, well, what about my other games I want to submit? And I'm like, I don't care about those. Put them in the regular game submission thing. This is explicitly for Monster of the Week. So part of me thinks people are just going to get super confused because nobody pays attention or reads, ever. So, I don't know. So, Phantom... Can you not just do the same thing? Yeah. Yep. Hanging the attractor out there. Your attractor... Well, actually, now it can't die because they're not going to have a way to clear the cat. I was going to say, like, maybe your attractor dies, but even then, you got the value. You're going to take down the Gravedigger and possibly the Tooth Fairy as well. So, like, they're just dead, right? I thought you said, BBZ, that this game wasn't as much of a massacre as the other one. Will Waffalo! Waffalo Will. Yo, that's the Wuff. You really need a Shove Shark on the board if you're our orange player. That's a dead Gravedigger. Hercules. Oof, wait, what? Oh, the Venus trap. I was like, how the hell did a trap get down here where the Hercules is? But it was Venus. It was Venus. How many undead have spots? Because now that we were looking at Primate, I'm noticing the spots on Erratic. And Will Wuffalo has spots too. And so does Caster. Does every undead have spots? This is going to bother me now. Numbskull has spots? Maybe every undead has spots. They just feel the most prominent on Primate. I mean, it would logically make sense. Like, that's a thing that happens to a dead body. Because of either, like, the blood pooling or other decomposition, that sort of thing. Like, that's part of the process. So, it's not surprising that the undead and stitched-together monsters in Phobies have spots. Dude. Boop. Wait, was the attractor yoinking up? I guess you can't... You would have only gotten one. Because if you yoinked, you could have gotten Erratic, but then you wouldn't have killed Wuffalo. Do get the big ol' splash damage here. Orange player making it... Oh my god, are you serious? Dude, Shove Shark should not have that much health. Whom. Pop goes the Erratic. I don't know if this is enough damage. It should be, though. Why did you get right next to the Venus? Oh, it dies. Never mind. I could have sworn more things died from your team. I mean, maybe some stuff dies, but... Don't look like it. Doesn't look like it. GG. This game was over several turns ago, realistically. Realistically, this game was over some time ago. The question is, and I'll posit this question to the YouTube audience, let me know in the comments, was Phantom fair here? Or in any of these games? I don't know. GG. All right, well, that's all the games we're going to look at for this particular Monster of the Week. If you're interested in playing in our weekly tournament series where you do get coffee just for showing up and playing, then hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. The link for that is, of course, in the description of the video. Like and subscribe button by the live stream. Link is there. You know, you get the idea by now. You've been around enough. But that's going to do it for tonight. We got viewer games tomorrow. We're going to be looking at some more Phobies craziness post-patch, looking at what everybody has in store. That's going to do it for tonight. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.